One of the most enjoyable things about restoring an old car is putting everything back together. Today I'm going to be assembling the driver's side door for my car. Let's start with the shell. Not a whole lot to do here other than paint it. I did, however, do three things. One was to check the water drains at the bottom of the door to make sure they were open. I also added some sound deadening material just to make the door a little bit quieter and give it a little bit more of a solid feel. And finally, there was a piece of felt between the outer body skin and an inside brace. I replaced that felt with a new piece. Next, I'm going to install the lock and link assembly. There was a piece of paper anti-rattle material that was glued to the door, so I substituted a piece of felt just to keep it a little quieter. To get this piece in, you have to slide it in here and then bend this piece up and get it up through there. And once that's through, the rest of it fits in here the way it's supposed to. There are 4 screws that hold this piece together, and then there's one screw that goes up here that holds the assembly in place. The regulator attaches to the other end of the link. You put it on and turn it, and then it attaches to the door with three more screws. Now we put the handle on, and then we can slide this just slightly to get the handle so that it's straight when it's in the locked position. Once the handle is straight, we can tighten these down, and then everything is in adjustment. So there's locked, unlocked, and open. So it seems to be working good. The next thing is to install the window channels inside the door, so when the window gets rolled down it has a track to follow. I was able to get this at Restoration Specialties, and it's made to fit exactly inside the channel. Once it's centered in the channel, then there's a wire on the end that you just bend over, and you end up with the channel ready to be installed. The channel on the other side is actually built into the door, and that just has a fuzzy guide that goes at the top that gives a place for the window to smoothly slide down. This is the longer window channel, and it goes on the trailing edge of the door and actually goes over the lock assembly. So we line up the holes, and then it gets held in with screws. As I said, the channel on the leading edge of the door is actually built in, and all you do is take this piece, put it in here, and then bend over the tabs. The window regulator mechanism is a rather complicated series of levers and gears that goes into raising and lowering the window. This is the piece that holds the glass. It's what tracks up and down those channels I showed you a little earlier. It has 2 wheels on it, one on each side, and sometimes there's confusion about these wheels because actually those came as 2 different styles. One of the ones which people complain about quite often are these. They have these little cast wheels which apparently would crack quite often. Beyond that, you have the actual mechanism that raises and lowers the window. This part connects, as I said, to several places underneath, and it also connects to the window. So as you move the regulator up and down by cranking it, it actually moves those pieces and then raises and lowers the window. The first step is to install the regulator body. It fits set underneath like this, and then it has 4 screws that hold it in. There is some adjustment in this, so you need to leave it loose until everything else is connected. At this point, you start hooking all these pieces together. I've put plenty of white grease on these so they'll slide easily. Next up is setting the glass in the frame and getting it ready to install in the door. It sets right in here like this. And what actually holds it in is called glass tape. Before I do that, though, I need to make sure I know where the glass goes. So I put it in, and then I'm going to mark the end here. I'm going to move it out a 1/16 of an inch further than that to allow for the piece of glass tape that has to go in here. Another piece on the vertical bar is this fuzzy, and it fits right in here. It's actually held in place by rivets that go straight through and then are folded over on the back. So I have the little rivets here, and what I'm going to do is to drill through here and then set these rivets using a center punch and a regular flat punch. And then this piece will be on there securely. Once that's done, we can come back and put the glass in. Now to set the glass, I'm going to measure out enough glass tape to go a little beyond the ends of the glass. I fold it over the edge of the glass like this, and then I get this lined up with the mark that I made, remembering to leave the extra 1/16 of an inch. Then once that's on, take a rubber mallet or a dead blow mallet, just pound it on. Be careful not to pound in the middle of these, otherwise you could bend them. You need to pound right on the edges, or preferably on the channel. And there you have the completed window ready to install. You can see down here there's actually a wide spot. That's where the wheels go through. So you start with the front wheel and put it through there first, and then slide it down. Once you get it down to where the track is, then you can drop the other wheel in. And now the window's basically in. There's a special washer and a clip that goes on the cross piece to hold the window in place. Now the window should roll up and down. Now it's hard to tell until we get the ventilator window in there, but if the window's not tipped properly, we can loosen the adjusting nut right here and then move this so it goes forward or backwards, and that'll square the window up in the opening and the ventilator will fit properly. We're coming into the home stretch on finishing up the door. 3 things left to do. One is there's a piece of anti-rattle. It's a fuzzy strip, and it goes right along under here, and it's held in place by 6 clips. The second thing is the channel that goes around the top edge of the door, which receives the window when it's rolled up, and it has 3 clips that hold it into place. And then finally there is a stop that goes in here, and what it does is you can set it so the window will only go down a certain distance. So you roll the window down just to where you want it, which is usually just above this fuzzy strip, and then set the stop. That way when you roll the window down, it'll stop in the same place every time. I added the weather strip and the door handles. Now it's off to the upholstery shop. So until we meet again, I'll see you on the road. Nice.